Good morning, and everybody. Thank you for joining us in this event at Johns Hopkins Aramco. I am Dr. Abdullah Al-Madani Al-Gandhi, and I am a bariatric surgeon and the director of bariatric program at Johns Hopkins Aramco Healthcare Center. Today is the World Obesity Day. And this is a recurring event since 2015. It happens every March 4th, and it is a reminder for us to know the disease of obesity and to remember that we are fighting it. Obesity in Saudi Arabia is of high prevalence, and Saudi Arabia and other Gulf countries are considered to be at the top of the list of the countries affected by this disease. So there are organizations that are behind the Obesity Day, and on top of them is the World Health Organization. Part of that organization, there is a World Health Assembly, and they monitor and release regulations and preventive measures against non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, obesity, coronary artery disease. And in 2013, 200 members from all over the world, representing 200 countries, they agreed to halt the rise in obesity at 2010 levels by the year 2025. Since then, there has been measures taken like tax on sugar, demanding that the number of calories are written in all the products, and many other regulations. However, the latest report came from the World Obesity Federation, which is part of the World Health Association as well. And it shows that less than 10% chance that the countries will meet that target by 2025, meaning that we are losing the battle against obesity. And the latest reports show that 800 to 900 million people around the world are affected by obesity. And the medical consequences of obesity will cost about $1 trillion by 2025. And nowadays, people living with obesity are twice as likely to be hospitalized and develop complications of the COVID-19 infection. And even more worrying is the childhood obesity, which is expected to increase by 60% over the next decade, reaching to 250 million child by 2030 who have obesity. This is just a slide that shows the distribution among adult males and females who are obese. But from this slide, we can learn as well the classification of obesity. So we base it on the body mass index, and it is a calculation of body weight on the surface area of the person. People who are considered overweight are the ones who have a BMI of 25 to 30. They are obese if their BMI is more than 30 kilograms per square meters. And they have severe obesity if their BMI is more than 35 but less than 40. After 40, then it is considered morbid obesity. And this shows the prevalence of obesity in the Middle East. And you can see that, and unfortunately, this is by 2016, and there is no new data until now. However, at that time, there were countries with the highest obesity rates, including Kuwait, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and UAE. And there are other countries that show the lowest incidence of obesity as listed below. This table shows the obesity among children, but the projected numbers and the estimates by 2025, that obesity percentage will be 10.5% of the world population of children. This graph shows a rising trend in obesity since 1995 to 2015 in Saudi Arabia. And it is a progressive prevalence with affecting men and women. This slide shows the number of deaths that caused by non-communicable diseases, and the top of the list is high blood pressure, followed by smoking, then high blood sugar, then air pollution, and at the fifth stage is the obesity. However, looking at the high blood pressure and high blood sugar as consequences of obesity, then the actual cause of death caused by obesity is way more than what is shown here, which is 4.72 million. Worldwide, there were lots of organizations and associations established to fight obesity and to put regulations for the prevention and management of that disease. And all of these agreed that today obesity is a disease, obesity is a pandemic, and obesity is affecting both males and females at all ages, and it is getting worse since the last 20 years. We will talk today about obesity, its misconceptions, its causes, its harms and benefits, and how to prevent it and how to treat it. Some of the misconceptions that it is a healthy thing to be overweight or obese. It indicates wealth, it's beauty. Or for those who believe that obesity is a bad thing to have, they have the misconception that it is undefeatable. So breaking that down, let's look at those misconceptions. Is it a health? Not really. In the past, diseases mainly related to infections were the cause of death. However, since the invention of antibiotics, most of the people at the present time are affected by chronic illnesses like diabetes, hypertension, and chronic artery disease, and all of these are linked to obesity. And that was evident when they started treating obesity, that most of those chronic illnesses started to resolve or became easier to control. Is it a wealth? Not really. People are showing their wealth in different ways nowadays, mainly physique, dress, luxury. Is it a beauty? That's as well has changed, and it is from the past. So we look at the causes of obesity. And this is almost like a myth that people can't pinpoint a single cause. It can be genetics, it can be lifestyle, it can be food abundance, and it's related to food industry, it can be part of the culture, etc. However, overall, it's basically an imbalance between how many calories we are taking in versus how many calories we are burning out. And it is caused mainly by food abundance and availability, and not any food, but those which are rich in calories. As well, the nature of our life is becoming more of a sedentary lifestyle. In our work, in our social life, technology. And we come to one of the main points that was debatable in the past. However, now it is a fact. Why obesity is a disease rather than just a physique or a body habitus. It's well known that after certain levels of obesity, the body loses its ability to control its weight. And the fat cells generate some harmful hormones that naturally the body, particularly the liver, will eliminate them. However, in obese patients, the body becomes overwhelmed by the amounts of these hormones and chemicals. The major negative effects of these hormones include slow metabolism, increased hunger, and more fat generation. And once that body balance is altered, it becomes affected by chronic diseases like disease, hypertension, hypercholesterolemia, breathing problems, etc. So when we look at preventing and treating obesity, it's a paradigm shift, and it needs patience and a lot of patience. Our relation with food is deep and instinctive. Every cell in our body will resist the change. They want the easy energy, which is carbs. However, with persistence, every cell in your body or our bodies will adjust, start burning fat as an internal source of energy in addition to the calories that we are ingesting or eating. Exercise is as well very important. Regular exercise 3 to 5 times a week. However, in addition to the above, there are few factors that really will help change and will help us to go along with our bodies. And that is regular healthy meals and regular enough sleeping hours. We come to obesity here in this slide. We see obesity from another perspective that probably it is hidden, and that obesity is a disability. It affects us physically and mentally. As well, it is a disfiguring disease. Most of patients with obesity, they tend to be isolated with low self-esteem. So how can we deal with it? Number one is prevention. And prevention is the treatment of every disease, and it is what we recommend always. We have to develop a routine in order to prevent obesity. That means that we have certain routines, schedules in our day that we continue to do every day, every week. And the purpose of that is just to watch our weights. So at a personal level, we have to have routines like weight measurement once or twice a week, watching the amount of calories that we are ingesting, and not any calories. It's what we call zero value calories. And those are the ones that come from sugar, fat, and starch. As well, the regular exercise. However, it comes as well at the community level that we need to find the culture to fight obesity. And that's by discouraging bad habits, encouraging good and healthy habits like the ones we mentioned earlier, especially in the young generation. As well, directing industries to support what we need. So in conclusion, obesity is a disease. It is the base of most modern age diseases. And it is a pandemic. And it is the responsibility of everyone to prevent it. And the theme for this year, the World Obesity Day, that everybody needs everybody. This is the end of our lecture. I didn't make it too long because of I really value your questions and answers. You can write them at the side of the screen, and I look at them one by one, and I'll try my best to answer them. Not to forget, this lecture is as well recorded, and it will be posted in the site by Sunday. This is for those who couldn't attend today. And there is an evaluation at the end of this presentation. It will take a few seconds to finish. So please take your time to do it. I'll move now to the questions. I need some technical help here and my colleague and, to see how we can get to the questions. I'm still waiting for some questions. I hope my presentation was good enough to address most of them. However, I'll be waiting for a few minutes and see if there are any questions written here at the side of the screen at the panel where it says questions answers. Again, thank you for attending, and I'll give it a few minutes and then we will end the session. Okay, apparently there are no questions to be asked. Thank you, everybody, for again attending this lecture. And please finish the evaluation at the end of the session. It will take a few seconds. Thanks again, and hope to see you again next year.